Well, hello everyone and welcome to another MI Short here on the MIgardener channel. This one's going to be super quick, but I wanted to show you something that I've been trying here, and I'm very excited to announce this, that it worked. I tend to run some experiments off camera because some things I really don't know if they're going to work, and they might be slightly controversial, so I just tend to do them to myself because I would get a lot of backlash from certain people that didn't think they'd work. And I find that it wears on me if I have to watch those negative comments come in. So I like to do some stuff on my own just for personal note. And when I do find that they work, I'll bring them to you. So one thing that I decided I would try is we're going to take this big stump down. This was a rotted old stump, and it had been sitting here for 5-10 years, and it's so, I mean, this thing is so rotted. It's just falling apart. But one thing that I wanted to do is plant some stuff here because there's a method that a lot of people have been asking me to try called Hugelkultur. And I've seen a lot of great videos on it. I've seen a lot of positive results. But one of the downsides is that you have to build this massive mound and you have to bury a log in the ground. And it's a lot of work, and I don't like things that are a lot of work. So I wanted to see if there was a way that you could do a mini Hugelkultur method just on a smaller scale using what you have around. So I don't have, I mean, I do have logs around that I could bury, but again, I don't want to do that. It's a lot of work, and I just don't have the time to kind of do that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of benefits to Hugelkultur, and Hugelkultur is actually, it's got quite a few benefits, but one of them is that the log itself, under the ground, you bury a log pretty deep down and you build the mound and you actually plant on the mound. Now what that does is as the log breaks down, it not only feeds the soil, but what happens is it absorbs nutrients because the rotted log, the dead rotted log, will actually absorb water like a sponge, and it will leach it out. It will let go of the water when the soil up above gets drier. Just regular capillary action. You can actually see this happen if you take a tissue paper or a napkin and set it in a thing of water. You'll notice the water moving up the napkin even though you're not dunking the napkin in the water further. It just kind of goes up on its own. That's called capillary action, and so it will keep the soil moist longer. It will fertilize the plant as it grows, and as the plant grows, the roots will go down into the rotted log, and the rotted log will give off nutrients. So there's a lot of benefits, and a lot of it is just kind of a whole method of carefree gardening. You really don't have to care for it too much. So what I did was kind of a mini Hugelkultur method that I decided I would try here with herbs. And so I planted some herbs around here, and the herbs are long gone except for this perennial that's been growing. But for 3 years I've been trying this, and since I decided it would come a good time to bring this up, I wanted to bring this out to you after 3 years to let you know that I've never fertilized this sage plant once. It is growing here, and a lot of people think that sage will, be very, very hard to grow, and that's because it is a very heavy feeder. Sage uses up a lot of nitrogen, and it also requires pretty moist soil. It does not like dry soil at all. So I've never watered this. Period. I've never watered this. It's gone solely off of rainwater, and I've never fertilized it in the 3 years. So in 3 years without rain or water, this thing is still growing on its own, and it is more of the finickier herbs to grow, and it is just growing here like crazy. So come on in close, check this out. It's a little buried by leaves, but you know what? I am shocked and I'm amazed. So I wanted to bring this to you. So if you have a log in your yard, and you want to try this, give it a try. If you want to place an herb garden or a couple plants around a nice rotted log, the log does have to be dead for a while though. But I know sometimes, people, they say all the time, oh, there was an old stump there, or let's just try to bury it up. Well, if you remember that stump is, plant a little garden right there and make it a Hugelkultur, kind of a mini version of a Hugelkultur, because the roots underneath the ground here from this stump are all rotting, and it creates a mini Hugelkultur because I didn't have to bury anything. The roots were already buried and they're just rotting. and I planted it right next to the base of this tree. So as it rots, it does the exact same thing, and you can definitely do it as well. If you cut down a tree, you know, flat with the ground, a lot of people go to the store and they say, well, you know, let's try to get some of that stump remover. All that stuff is a fungus that will actually break down the tree. That will happen naturally on its own, and you might as well get some production out of it while it's there. So come on and check this out. I'm very proud of this. I'm very pleased with it, and this experiment is now going to be classified as a success and is now being brought to the public. So definitely check this out. I'm blown away, and I love this. So here you go. Here is the mini Hugelkultur version here. I planted this plant right here. I mean, check out the root system on this. It is so healthy, and I planted it right next to the base here. I mean, it's a little far away, but I had a ton of herbs around here. I had some basil, some oregano, some parsley, different stuff like that, and I've since pulled that stuff out. But it worked just the same. I mean, it grew very, very well for you, and you just got this really old, rotted out log here, and it's been feeding this plant. Absolutely no signs of nutrient deficiencies. It's been growing great. It's actually been sprawling and sprawling and sprawling and growing and putting out a ton of new growth here. All this new growth here, we've harvested from it probably about at least, I'd say maybe 20, 30 times, and it just keeps growing and growing. So definitely give this a try. Definitely give this little mini Hugelkultur a try. And a lot of people say, I don't want a big stump there. Well, that's fine. I don't need the big stump to be feeding my plants. I could actually cut this flat and cut it flush to the ground, and it would be the same as what other people have when they cut a stump. Don't call a company to come remove that stump with a big grinder. You know, put it to good use and actually feed some plants, feed your family with it. So there you go. Small-scale Hugelkultur is indeed possible. It does not have to take a whole lot of effort, and I see no problem why this cannot be done for you as well. So give this a try. Let me know how it works if you do decide to give it a try. And you know, just let this be a lesson though, that don't be afraid to try things. I had no clue if this would work. I had no clue if a lot of things that I do would work, and I have had some failures. But you know what, if you use common sense and you apply basic common sense to gardening practices, I find that you have more successes than failures, and this just so happened to be one of those great successes. So give it a try. Let me know how it works. Oh man, that is fantastic. So I'm going to get heading out here, but man, I wish the camera had smell-o-vision. Oh, this is so fragrant. All right, well, I will talk to you all later. Hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned something new, and I'll catch you all later. This is Luke from MIgardener, hoping you're growing big or going home. See ya. Bye. That is awesome.